Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about D&D Honor Among Thieves, the amazing new film that has just been released to the public. It's out in the wild, peeps. All right, so spoilers for Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves in this content. Let's go. All right. So today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves and horses. So I am just so incredibly thankful for this new film. And what really excited me was the prominent use of horses throughout the film. So one of the things I really liked about this was Daly and Goldstein, the tremendous directors of this film, and the actors of this film, and literally and this isn't a joke, there were 1,000 people plus that brought this film to life. And this is a real Hollywood blockbuster attempt. It's very genuine. This is a real American blockbuster attempt, right? And part of that is trying to bring Dungeons and Dragons to life on the big screen in a live action film. And I would say I definitely understand that people get frustrated that Americans don't take animation serious, but we don't, right? Like, we want to see live action. It's, by the way, if you don't know this, Americans set the quality standard for the world, right? Japan, they're like, yeah, animation's good enough for us. Americans are like, nah, you guys to get that stuff on screen, right? I want to see live action, which is incredibly expensive, right? And so part of that expense is horses, right? Horses are like, first of all, I rode a horse when I was a child, right? And I don't think I've ridden a horse since then. And the reason why is it's outrageously expensive, right? And also, I had 2 daughters, and I think they might have been on horseback once or twice in their lives, but I failed them as a father, and I did not have the money to let them go, do horseback riding, or my sons, right? It's a skill they don't have. None of my kids are equestrians, and I feel very bad about that, but horses are outrageously expensive, right? Because they eat a ton of food, and they need to be put into a stable, and they need to be brushed every day, and they need, a farrier, and there are a million different things, right? But this movie really prominently, highlighted horses. They were all throughout the film, right? There were guards on horses. Holga and Edgin actually did scenes on horses. Edgin sung a song on a horse, right? And there were emotional scenes on horses. There's a beautiful scene between Edgin and Holga. Holga comes out of Marleman's house, right? And she's devastated and she's broken, right? And she just jumps up on her horse, and Edgin's there on his horse, and he pulls out his reinforced lute and he sings a song, and it's so beautiful and so personal, right? And it brings Dungeons and Dragons to life, right? There's things that happen in Dungeons and Dragons that don't happen for us, right? We don't come out of a bad relationship, jump on a horse, and somebody sings us a song to make us happy, right? And Edgin makes her happy, and this entire scene happens on the back of 2 horses, and then those 2 horses go and meet, Doric and Simon, who are on 2 other horses, right? And there are horses throughout this entire film. And if you don't know, I got 4,600 videos on Dungeons and Dragons. I'm very proud of it. I got 8 years here, right? I'm very proud of the collection of content I've created. I truly believe I may be the most voluminous Dungeons and Dragons commentator who's ever lived. I'm not sure there's anyone on this planet who works as a individual contributor who has created more commentary on Dungeons and Dragons than me. I really think I've broken that record. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. I'd be happy to hear it, right? And point to the person you think that's done more than me. And I have talked about horses many, many times because they are a key aspect of Dungeons and Dragons. So we as humans, we really have these incredible relationships with animals. One of the things they do for us is they provide us sustenance. We eat them, right? The other thing they do is they provide companionship. Dogs are amazing companions, and we really do spend time with them. Horses are have an incredible relationship with humans. They provide us transportation, right? And so there are all these different animals, and they all interact with us in different ways, and they all sacrifice to make our lives better. And horses are an amazing part of being human, and they are a far more amazing part of Dungeons and Dragons, right? They are just like, it's the thing that says you're in Dungeons and Dragons now, you know, because, and I will say, I keep saying Dungeons and Dragons is truly special. I never had a horse, right? Like, I'm just, you know, even my dad, who made a lot more money than me, right? Never was able to give me a horse, right? And the reality, but I've had horses in Dungeons and Dragons, right? And I can go get a horse this weekend in Dungeons and Dragons, right? And it's just something, and that's the thing, is like, Dungeons and Dragons spikes across wealth class and allows things that we cannot have in our real world to be available to us in our other lives, the lives that Dungeons and Dragons gives us, the lives where we can have a horse, right? And it's powerful and it's special, and I was so incredibly impressed with how powerfully, how expertly, how beautifully and wonderfully horses were used in this film. It was a really fantastic addition to the film. It really made it feel real, right? Like, it really brought Dungeons and Dragons to life. And that was one of the aspects that I loved the most about this film, is the absolute expert use of horses in this film. I am so over the moon for Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I've seen it for the third time. I cry every time Holga Kilgore dies. And and I'm not sure that's ever going to end. Like, it really... I am just blown away with what has been put on screen. And I'm just taking this moment of joy before the OSR allies come to piss on the whole thing. And, you know, and celebrate it with you. And, I'm incredibly thankful. I really am. And I just want to share my joy with you. And I also kind of want to buttress I think this thing is amazing and it's beautiful. And for that reason, I think the OSR allies are going to hate it and they're going to come for it. And so let's enjoy it while we got a free moment to breathe. Thank you every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.